week. "Becca, you smell like sewage," Dad would say. He was always a fucker. Depression came with its own story. It seems the myth is true. Your life passes before your eyes when you face certain death. Once the true darkness sank in, I was suddenly that girl again, in my small, pathetic hometown, the girl everyone wanted but no one could have. My friends were so envious of my popularity. No one ever asked me if I wanted it. If someone had given me the choice between having my pick of the boys in town or an entirely different family, I wouldn't have thought twice. It would have been the family every time. My free hand drags through the water as if I am checking the temperature of bath water. I am going to miss bubble baths, maybe most of all. The thin scribble of ink, a tattoo from my teens, is illuminated by the streaks of moonlight. They teased me as the girl no one could have, but there had been someone. Just one. No one knew. I hid the tattoo under a watch. The tattoo takes me back again. I can't seem to stay out of my past. Is this part of it all? Part of dying? I'm sitting in my dad's big armchair. It smells of his stale cigarettes and the general stench of my hateful old man. Any other day, I never would have sat there. Any other day, he would have yanked me by the arms and thrown me across the room. But that day, the day of my grandmother's funeral, I stared at him as I sat in it, letting him know I was going to sit in his chair, and that was that. Nana was the only person I cared about, the only anchor in my life. And when she died, I was lost, alone. Neighbors and friends floated in and out of the house, bringing coffee cakes and casseroles, none of them staying long. They all loved my grandmother. They spent hours quilting and baking and having coffee with her. My parents were better in very small doses, if at all. Through the haze of my grief, I kept staring at Greta Harvey's glasses. They were crooked, leaning severely to the right. I stared at her tilted glasses as she carried a pot of beef stew into the kitchen, as she leaned over to give my mother a stiff hug. I stared at them as she bent down to touch my cheek, her own ample cheeks rolling up into a sympathetic smile. I sat on my hands to keep myself from reaching up and straightening out those damn glasses. The funny things you think about when it's all going to shit. The water reaches my knees. My feet are numb from the cold. Blood trickles from my torn-up wrist, the wrist that is going to be the cause of my death. In 10th grade, Samuel Peters grabbed my wrist. He told me it was so small he could break it into a million pieces with a good squeeze. I dared him to do it. That was me. Not the girl who yanked her wrist free to give him the slap he deserved. I was the girl who dared him to do it. If only Samuel were here now, crushing my wrist so that I could fold my hand and pull it free from my shackle. I stare down at my thighs. The blood is mixing with the clammy water. The sliver of moon somehow manages to find me in my watery grave to illuminate my imminent death. Summer shorts. I am going to die in my denim cutoffs. It is exactly what I would choose to wear if someone told me, "You're going to die today, choose your wardrobe wisely." I would have skipped the flip-flops. The funny things you think of when it's all going to shit. The water level reaches my belly button. Why is it taking the car so long to sink? Aren't cars impossibly heavy? My heartbeat races as some of the earlier rage reappears.